Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about the most powerful tool you will ever possess, your mind. See, most people go through life reacting to circumstances, to people, to failures, to the past, to fear. But here's the truth. If you don't take control of your mind, something else will fear, doubt, the opinions of others, or your own past failures. But the moment you decide to take the wheel, everything begins to change. The mind is a battlefield. Every day, you are in a war between who you are and who you could become, between fear and courage, between comfort and growth. And the only way you win that war is by becoming the commander, not the prisoner of your own thoughts. You cannot live an extraordinary life with a mind that constantly pulls you into limitation. You cannot feel peace if your thoughts are chaotic, and you cannot build greatness with a mind stuck in survival mode. So let me ask you this: who's running your mind right now? Is it you, or is it the programming of your past? If you want to take control of your destiny, you must first take control of your mental focus. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus on, you find more of. If you focus on what's missing, you'll live in lack. If you focus on what's possible, you'll live in power. So start choosing thoughts that serve you, not sabotage you. Now, controlling your mind doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing how you respond. It means deciding what meaning you assign to the pain, because pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The meaning you give to your experiences will shape your emotions, your actions, and your life. Most people think they need to feel motivated before they act, but the truth is, action comes first, and that action rewires your mind. You train your brain to follow, not lead. So when your mind says, "I can't," you say, "Watch me." When it screams, "I'm tired," you answer, "We're just getting started." Because the mind will fight you, especially when you're stretching beyond comfort. But growth never comes from comfort. Discipline over your mind is not a one-time event, it's a daily decision. It's a habit, and once you make it your habit to think thoughts that empower you, to feed your mind with purpose, clarity, and belief, your life will transform. You are not your thoughts, you are the thinker of your thoughts. And once you realize that, you are free. Free to rewrite the narrative, free to choose your emotional state, free to command your mind instead of being commanded by it. So don't wait, don't wish, don't hope, decide. Decide today that your mind works for you. Train it, feed it, lead it, because once you control your mind, you control your life. Let's go. You are the master of your mind, not its slave. That's not just a motivational phrase. It's a truth that, once fully understood, has the power to change your life. The problem is, most people live in reverse. They allow their thoughts to dictate their emotions to drive their actions, and their actions to shape a reality they never consciously chose. But the moment you realize that you are the one generating your thoughts, not the other way around, you gain control over the entire chain. You move from being reactive to being intentional. Your mind is powerful, but it's also programmable. From the moment you were born, it began absorbing data, beliefs, behaviors, limitations from your environment. And if you're not careful, you'll live by a mental script you never wrote, created by other people's fears, doubts, and failures. But you have the power to rewrite that script. That power begins with awareness. Most people don't even realize that their inner voice, the one that says you're not good enough or this won't work, is just a loop of old programming. It's not truth, it's not destiny, it's just repetition. But here's the good news. If repetition created it, repetition can also destroy it and replace it with something stronger. Taking back your mind starts with a decision. A decision to stop living on autopilot. A decision to stop being a victim of your thoughts. That means catching yourself when negativity creeps in and choosing a new, more empowering thought. It means not allowing fear or doubt to be the loudest voice in the room. It means stepping into the role of the observer, the conscious being behind the thoughts. Because once you realize that you are not your thoughts, you're free to change them. This isn't about denial or fake positivity. It's about leadership. Self-leadership. It's about being the one who decides what you believe, how you feel, and what you do. There will be days when your mind will resist. It will want comfort, certainty, and safety. It will scream for old habits, but leadership is doing what's right, not what's easy, and controlling your mind means choosing growth over comfort again and again until it becomes your default setting. You are not weak and you are not broken. You are simply untrained. Just like a muscle, the mind strengthens with use, with challenge, with deliberate repetition. Every time you interrupt a limiting thought, every time you replace fear with action, you are building mental strength. You are taking one more step toward becoming the architect of your reality. So remember this, your mind is a tool. If you don't use it with intention, it will use you by default. But once you take command, everything begins to shift. You don't just think differently, you feel differently, act differently, and ultimately live differently. The mind is powerful, but you are more powerful. Control it, and you take control of your life. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus on, you find more of. Focus isn't just a mental exercise, it's the filter through which you experience the entire world. Two people can go through the exact same situation and walk away with completely different emotions, actions, and results. Why? Because one focused on the problem, while the other focused on the solution. One focused on what was missing, while the other focused on what was possible. The difference wasn't in the event, it was in the focus. Your brain is designed to seek out what you repeatedly focus on. It's called the reticular activating system, and it acts like a spotlight. The moment you tell it something is important, whether that's success, failure, fear, or growth, it will start filtering the world to show you more of it. That means if you constantly focus on stress, your brain will find more reasons to feel stressed. If you constantly focus on what's going wrong, your brain will magnify those problems. But if you shift your focus to gratitude, to opportunity, to what's in your control, suddenly your experience shifts not because the world changed, but because you did. Most people don't realize the power they have in this moment to direct their focus. Instead, they let it wander. They focus on what they can't control: the past, other people's opinions, the economy, the mistakes they made. But the truth is, your focus is your choice. You can choose to focus on progress instead of perfection. You can choose to focus on your strengths instead of your shortcomings. You can choose to look for lessons instead of losses. Focus is a force. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if your energy is constantly being drained, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, ask yourself, what am I focusing on? The answer will often explain your emotions, and once you understand that, you can interrupt the pattern. You can train your mind to look for what's useful, what's empowering, and what's true, not just what's familiar. This shift in focus doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you do. Because when you feel empowered, you take bold action. When you feel hopeful, you create momentum. When you focus on solutions, your mind becomes creative and resourceful. Suddenly, the problems that once felt overwhelming become manageable, even solvable. Your emotional state rises, your confidence grows, your life expands. Remember, your focus is the steering wheel of your life. You get to decide where to aim it, and the direction you choose determines the quality of your experience. Stop focusing on what's out of your hands and start focusing on what's in your heart. Stop feeding your fears and start feeding your future, because the moment you control your focus, you begin to control your destiny. Controlling your mind is not something you do once and forget. It's a discipline you practice every single day. Just like your body needs consistent training to grow stronger, your mind requires daily conditioning to become resilient, focused, and unstoppable. Most people expect their mindset to change overnight. They read one book, listen to one speech, and hope for a permanent transformation. But transformation isn't a moment, it's a process, and the fuel for that process is discipline. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't plant powerful, intentional thoughts, the weeds of fear, doubt, and negativity will grow by default. They don't need an invitation, they thrive in neglect. Discipline is the act of showing up every day and doing the work to shape your thinking. That means choosing what you consume, being aware of your self-talk, and constantly catching and replacing limiting beliefs. It's not glamorous and it's not always exciting, but it works, and over time, it builds a foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. Every day, you are faced with a decision: follow the path of least resistance or take control. The easy path is tempting, scrolling endlessly, complaining, giving into fear, procrastinating. But the disciplined path is the one that leads to progress. It's the path where you get up even when your mind says stay down. It's the path where you silence that voice of limitation and replace it with truth. It's the path where your habits become stronger than your excuses. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means consistency. It means that even when you slip, and you get back up and realign. One powerful practice, done consistently, can rewire your mind over time. Whether it's morning affirmations, visualization, journaling, breathwork, or simply sitting in silence to gain clarity, these practices are like workouts for your mind. The more you do them, the stronger you become. And the stronger you become, the less control your old thought patterns have over you. It's easy to be disciplined when things are going well, but true power is developed when you stay committed through the challenges. That's when real mental toughness is built. It's in those moments of doubt, fear, and discomfort where your new identity is forged. You stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect and start creating momentum from within. You no longer rely on motivation, you depend on discipline. And here's the truth: the disciplined mind becomes the free mind. When you practice control over your thoughts, you gain freedom from fear. When you discipline your focus, you gain clarity. When you train your emotions, you gain peace. That's the paradox. Discipline isn't restriction, it's liberation. So commit to it, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Because the version of you that you're becoming is on the other side of consistent, daily mental discipline. Train your mind, lead your life.